So apparently this is definitely interesting to people, but a few weeks ago I did a thing on Mike Busey. If you don't know me, my name is Dan Rudy, and welcome to the Dan the Messenger live podcast broadcast. And one of the things that we did in the very first Dan the Messenger podcast, which is brought to you by Hope4Humanity2020, is bullying. We can't stand bullying. I don't care who it is, what it is. When you bully someone, that just shows you what type of person you are, how sad of a person you individually are. And earlier I mentioned my former friend, Mike Busey. And I said, fuck Mike Busey. And please, if you have children, don't put this on. And the reason why I said that, and I posted this video before, but apparently it got taken down. I'm going to let it break it down for you. I don't care how many zeros you have in your bank account. I don't care if you think you're famous or infamous. You don't bully people. And good old Mike, Robert, if you guys don't know who Robert was, he was a cameraman for Mike Busey. He lived at the Sausage Castle for 2 years. Traveled with Mike, did all kinds of things with Mike, and I met him when I went to visit Mike after my initial survival from the COVID virus. And Mike was kind enough to give me 8 hours of his time, and I explained to him everything that we wanted to do and what was going on. And all he kept saying is, don't do this, don't do that. And personally, he was kind enough to let me spend the night at the Sausage Castle while they had a great party. I didn't party. I just went back to bed. And Robert and I talked, and Robert wanted to be a part of the journey. He wanted to. He was a youth pastor when he was younger, and his mom, Mrs. Boss, was the one that gave me the Bible. Anyways, Robert had to go home because he couldn't get work during COVID-19, and like everyone, he's suffering. So his mother was kind enough to put him back up, and his stimulus check, because the taxes and everything was at Mike's old house, went to Mike's house. And Mike so graciously sent Robert a picture of it and basically told him, ha ha ha, I have your check. And it's been weeks now since I've done this original video. So I'm going to play the video so you guys can get all the juicy details. And plus my producer, Sliz, wanted to see it. So here we go. I had to hunt for it, and I found it. And I'm going to play it for you guys. So get some popcorn. If you've been bored at 10 o'clock at night, you're going to have some fun stuff to listen to. And if you're an old supporter of Eddie Fishbowls, if you came out to any of our Sin City events, I still have friends of Mike's on my page. I know Mike has heard it because Mike reached out to find out how my tour was doing. And I'll put this bet back out one more time to him, because when we do the podcast, Mike, you have an open invite. Come share your side of the story, Mr. Famous. Come share why you're bullying Robert Poss. Come share why you're not sharing and sending the check to him and making this poor guy suffer waiting for $600. Your image is gone downhill, and you know this. I'm not scared of you. You got my number any day of the week. You can call me up. I've told you this bet, $50,000. $50,000. In a year from now, watch who has more of a following, you or me. And whoever wins or loses will donate $50,000 to the other's charity. Simple bet. You won't take it. When Robert left to come stay with me, you told him I was crazy and some other stuff. So here we go. This is the video that I did, I don't know how many weeks ago, late edition of Turned Up Tuesday, anti-bullying edition. Apparently Facebook pulls everything down. I don't know why. It just does. And as soon as this starts, I have no control over the video. It'll start. I'm going to cut it off so you guys can listen, get your popcorn ready, and understand I don't give a shit who you are. If you want to bully someone, here we go. Well, good evening, everybody. It is Tuesday. I don't know what day it is. Tuesday, 1/26, and it is 2021. And I'm going live because a friend of mine is bullying another friend of mine, and this friend is famous. It doesn't make any sense to me. So let's talk about it. When we're going to do a little bit back memory lane. We're going to explain why I'm doing what I do, what I was doing before, why people know me. I'm going to show you some pictures and a couple of videos to kind of explain it. Back in the day, I had a promotional company. It was called Sin City Entertainment, and we were known for doing crazy stuff like Girls Gone Wild. We'd have events, this crazy events in Fort Myers and different areas. I traveled all over. I did stuff with radio stations like B103.9, 105.5 The Beat. People like Sinister that know DJ Sinister, or Trip as I know him. I did nights at Cincinnati Entertainment, since Saturdays at Fishbowls. Well, I owned Fishbowls. We'd do stuff with celebrities like Casely would come in town. Daisy De La Hoya was one of my favorites. Back in the day at MB Lounge, we do these silly little things called Famous Fridays. And one of the biggest things I ever did was St. Patty's Day. I think it was '08. Literally, we jam-packed downtown like they'd never seen before. And, I did different events like the Exotic Erotic Ball. We did Jello wrestling. We did stuff like the first annual Battle of the Bowl, where we actually gave bands a chance to win $5,000 in a record deal. I had other people, pseudo celebrities, come through. Megan Hauserman, that's a local guy, that's a rapper. Young Phantom, that was the winner of Daisy of Love. We had Omar's birthday bash, and Rick Ross and DJ Khaled came to MV Lounge, and they actually played and performed there. All kinds of silly things. This is one of my right hands, Dirty Dan. Everybody knows Dirty. That was us at Fishbowls. Everybody knows my old famous partner, Ed Sheridan. God bless his soul. When we talk about my old producer, Shady Spencer, and my producer, Shady Spencer, we talk about the old days. Look at him. He looks like Eminem, because he really did look like Eminem. Sin City Entertainment on Wednesday nights, it was one of the most packed nights you could ever imagine, consistently, because we would always bring different types of entertainment. And what started it all, that kicked it off in Fort Myers, was I brought this guy in town, Don Vito. Don Vito was Viva La Bam. He's rest his soul as well. He was Bam Margera's crazy uncle. So I like the tag. I get crazy uncle. So the funny story about that was, the first time he was supposed to show up, Vito got arrested the night that he was supposed to be there. I kid you not. And they gave him two options: either go to rehab or go to jail. So he went to rehab. And literally 3 weeks later, we had him at MB Lounge, and it was a crazy time. And one of the guys that I worked with that helped me connect through him was, I had connections through GGW, Girls Gone Wild. That's the bus. We brought it in town multiple times. We did Jello wrestling. We did all kinds of insane stuff. That's what young, guys do. And when you're in the entertainment industry, when we had downtown packed the guilds for St. Patty's Day, everybody knew believe me, when I say I know where the bodies are in Fort Myers, I mean, like, I've got dirt for days on people, because I did so many silly things and crazy events. Am I ashamed of it? No, because I entertained people. Look, that St. Patty's Day party, we took over Cigar Bar, now it's Cigar Bar Live, Long Shot Lounge, Patio 33, which is now 1028 or 1024, Indigo Room, which is still there. It's the oldest bar and open bar downtown. MB Lounge, which is now Celsius. So I've been around for a minute. And one of the guys I knew way back in the day on the far right is this chubby guy named Mike Busey. And Mike Busey, I met him when he, through GGW, through a friend of mine, and he was just a college kid. He wanted to be famous. He went to Catholic school, and he just decided he was going to be the real life Van Wilder. And sure as you can bet your life on, he eventually became that guy. He became so famous that, hell, he gets to hang out with Post Malone. That's like $50,000 in cash right there, right? So he became famous. But before he was famous, he came to my place multiple times as a no-name person that I promoted. And I would put on the radio station. I had him at Scores. I brought him to Lido. I forget what you guys called it now. We'd always called the name of the club wrong. We did a thing with Shipbird. And I had him at Fishbowls multiple times doing wild and crazy events. Some of the stuff you'd have to go to my you'd have to go to my Sin City page to see some of the wildest stuff around. But you know, I don't make my life up. Like, it really happened. It was really insane. And when you have a partner like Ed Sheridan, on top of having Sin City Entertainment, you get to meet famous people like Shannon Larkin from Godsmack, or you know, Rick and Khaled. You know, you got friends that are famous now, like Trip, who goes by DJ Sinister, and there's Shady again, looking young and baby faced. And you know, there's Ed and I. When we first opened up Fishbowls, one of the things we did was the White Trash Bash. And so there's Ed on the far right, and on the far left was Big Mama when he was actually on 99X. So I've been around for a minute. And before the city shut us down, I was actually going to redo the entire front of Fishbowls and turn it into this. Everyone in Fort Myers knows Eddie Fishbowls. That was around back in the day. Like, we were a part of B103.9. Every Friday night we were live on the air with 103.9 and Big Mama and the Wild Bunch. What? Saturdays we were live on the air with 105.5 The Beat with Ramo and the Big O. So I've been around. That's how I kind of got this little podcast, because Gentry Thomas is also from the same hometown. And this is like when I did Jello Wrestling. I'm not ashamed of my past. That's actually inside of Fishbowls. Because I like entertaining people. That's why I do what I do. And so tonight, the reason why I'm doing this Turned Up Tuesday and trying to take a stance on late edition of Turned Up Tuesday for anti-bullying is this. One of my good friends, before I get into it, let's just play a video of his. Let's see if this.
Well, local celebrity star, reality star, in fact, is back home after a wild party landed him in jail.
I throw the parties you see in the movies.
Notorious for his outrageous parties, gun shooting, and wild antics, Mike Busey has built an empire of pure Floridian ratchetness. For over a decade, he has been causing trouble in Osceola County at his St. Cloud home that is tastefully titled the Sausage Castle. Over the years, he has racked up thousands of dollars in fines and has even been arrested. Despite this, he has refused to give up his lifestyle and has fought the local legal system many times over. But now, Osceola County is no longer just going after Mike, but also his property, as their latest attempt at running him out of town deals with how the Sausage Castle is built on unsafe wetlands. With the foreclosure process already taking place, we wanted to know if the county was really shutting down what some may call the wildest house in America. So Mike invited us to the Sausage Castle to discuss the issue, and just how hard he's going to fight it.
So that gives you a little bit about Mike. Mike is really like the living Van Wilder of his era. He literally lives that lifestyle. He parties, he throws wild parties, he knows different pseudo celebrities like Machine Gun Kelly, Post Malone. And what happens is when you get famous and you're doing these crazy events, A&R reps will introduce you to young talent. And that's how he met Machine Gun Kelly. That's how he met Post Malone, and Post Malone blew up. He also knows the Jackass crew, just like I did. I don't know him as well as he did, but thanks to like Viva La Bam and all that, I got to know a lot of famous people. You know, Shannon Larkin from Godsmack. We did all kinds of crazy things. So when you talk about celebrity, I was around it. I lived a rock and roll lifestyle like he did, except I never cared. Not like it didn't bother me, because I knew I wasn't curing cancer. I knew that what we did was just entertaining people, and I enjoyed it. You know, here's let's see, you know, here's a video.
Hey, what's up? It's Megan from You Want a Millionaire.
And Cecile.
And we're going to be at Eddie's Fishbowl this Tuesday, August 11th, for Eddie Fishbowl's continuation of Jello Wrestling Royal Rumble with B1039.
It's fun. You should come.
Guys, the sushi chef is here. What's up? This is Dave 12-Pack, and I am here in Florida, ready for Eddie Fishbowls, July 21st. I will be there with Real Wild Girls, and the party's gonna be crazy, guys, so come join me.
Behind your collar, what is done in vain? Truth is hard to swallow, so you break It's your boy Young Phantom, man. Yeah, big shout out to Cap for me, man. On 28, I'm gonna definitely be out there in Tampa, doing it real big, man. Doing a big show for y'all, man. I'll be out there live. So shout out to everybody in Tampa, man. My big home.
He was done, dog. But he's back bigger, better, stronger, and free. Like I ain't fought my way out of all these motherfucking situations. Fuck this.
Guess who's back? Back again. Jamie's back. Tell a friend. Guess who's back? 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 Guess who's back?
One free moves. Only one nightclub in Southwest Florida is giving them away. That's right here. It's Eddie Fishbowls on a Friday night. It's the party! Eddie Fishbowls on a Friday night! If you're missing chicks like this on the pole!
So now you get a quick little past of some of my my past things I did. I was very proud of what we did with Sin City Entertainment. I was very proud with Eddie Fishbowls. We really entertained people when people wanted it and they needed it. And thank God it was pre-social media, because Jesus criminy, the amount of wildness that you would have seen is unbelievable. Now, the city of Cape Coral came in and they shut us down because they didn't like we had girls going wild. You know, they didn't like the Jello wrestling. They just didn't like us. And we weren't doing anything wrong. Like I said, we were going to be actually changing Fishbowls to this. But on 9/11 of 2009, they shut us down. And unfortunately, I lost my shirt for no reason. But And then Ed and I had a falling out, and everybody in the town got a chance to talk. And my mom passed away from cancer a few months later, and I really didn't want to deal with the BS. But in the end, I went back in the industry. Back in 2014, I opened up Dash, and we did really well with it. And then I found out in 2017 I was sick. I walked away from that because I had diabetes, and I got into solar, and completely changed my life. Before I did, though, Ed Fish and I, this was in 2016, we actually made up, and we were hanging out, and we were friends again. Most people don't know that, and so when I went to his, God rest his soul, his wake, it really affected me. And most people didn't realize, him and I, we were in this together. I mean, we did a lot of crazy, crazy antics, and thanks to him, I probably drank way more Jägermeisters than I'd ever in my life should have drank. I didn't even like it, but because he drank it, it was our thing, and it became a competition. Who could drink more? And at the end, I think it was between me and him, we were pretty equal. Now, go back to this guy. So we brought Mike in during spring break, multiple weekends, like every Monday for a month. And Mike would actually come to my house, and they would all hang out, 12-pack. Let's see if I got that. Any of those pictures, but 12-pack was on Daisy Love, and he was on some other reality shows beforehand. They became friends, so we'd bring him on. And now Mike is, pseudo famous. I walked away from the nightclub industry and the nightlife because I was tired of it. I really didn't care for it. I didn't care to see my friends shove cocaine up their nose, Molly, everything else, and I seen a lot of the dark side of it. And I never did that stuff. All I did was drink Jaeger and to hang with these guys. And it was sad, because look, before Mike was that, he was this guy right here. Well, when I'm bringing in Mike Busey, he was like his sidekick. No one really knew him. And now, he's this, all right? And when you get famous, or pseudo famous, I always say I had friends in low places, it kind of changes you. When I had gotten sick, and the night I was almost died from the coronavirus, Mike had reached out to me, and a bunch of people reached out to me, and I thought, well, that was kind of cool. So I had a thing that after that night, the core people that reached out to me, I actually went to see them and thank them personally and tell them about my experience. It was a unique experience. It became almost a religious thing for me, and I shared it with them openly and honestly. And I told them what my goals were. I told them that we were going to do the show. We're going to be doing advocacy for the coronavirus, that I had these drugs and medications that could save lives. And, he didn't really say anything bad or good, but he gave me a good solid 8 hours of his time, which I respected. And while I was there, I met this guy named Robert Poss. And I told Robert my story, and Robert, by the time I was done, his skin was crawling. This is only like 6 months ago. And he goes, "You don't know who I am, do you?" I said, "No, I don't have a clue." He goes, "Well, I'm Mike's in-house photographer, but I also was a youth pastor back in the day." And he was as shook by the story I told him. He knew I wasn't lying. And he goes, "I'd like to be a part of it." I'm like, "Well, I'm not here to steal you from anybody. I'm just here to talk to my friend Mike." And so after I talked to Mike, they partied that night. I went to bed because I'm an old man now, and the last thing I need to do is be up past 9 or 10 o'clock at night. Well, come to find out, Mike had a crazy party. Something happened, as usual, and then he blamed Robert and basically threw Robert on the street. So I told Robert, I said, "Listen, you can come stay with me. Like, I could use some help because I was really sick." And so you've heard Robert on the show, on the podcast. Really nice guy, amazing photographer. Really, 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 just he's had his share of bad luck. He worked for Disney. He got laid off because of COVID. Mike had been putting him up. But I guess apparently, because I don't pay attention to any of this social media crap, Mike always used Robert as the butt of his jokes. Would use him in Snapchats, like picking on him. I guess the last flyer he did, he had him like naked. And Robert's tall and skinny. And anyways, I didn't pay too much attention to it. And then Robert told me, he goes, "After you left, Mike had said, yeah, this guy's crazy. He knew him back in the day. He's like this crazy uncle. And he thinks he's on some journey from God." And I'm like, that's not what I said, but okay, whatever. No big deal. I wasn't upset. I'm like, the podcast is coming out. I'm not here to do anything other than try to help people. So no sweat off my balls. And so let me take this down. So Robert moves in with me. We get to be friends. He's doing his work. I'm trying to help nurse him back from 2 years of living in that lifestyle. It will get to you. If you've been in the nightclub industry, your nights, if you ever see the movie Cocktail, your nights get longer and longer and longer, and your days get shorter and shorter and shorter. And next thing you know, you're a freaking vampire. And if you're hanging out with these people, if you don't drink, then, they think you're something wrong with you. So then you drink, and then you got hangovers for days. And that's part of the thing I hated. I couldn't stand the nightclub industry for that. Because everywhere I went, hey, let's do a shot. Like I said before, I'm Fort Myers famous. Like everybody knew me. And so everywhere I went, because I was in the nightclub industry or a promotional company or owned a crazy bar, let's do shots. And I'm like, oh, Jesus. I hated it, really. But after 3, 4, I was like the happy drunk, so no big deal. So back to Mike. Robert had to leave. He went back to his home in Georgia, basically because he wasn't able to find consistent work, and he moved back to his home to his mom so he could basically, get back on his feet. So, we keep in touch. He actually helped me with the event with Austin Booth. He helped cover it, take pictures for him. We're doing a video for the Punishers and for Austin for it. And so, that was the last thing we did together before he left. And I reached out to him the other day and I said, hey, man, how you doing? And he's like, I think I'm about to get a job. And, I've been on, just been really down on my luck and I could use a break. I'm like, oh, okay, And I said, well, listen, you're still getting mail here, so you might want to change your address. And he goes, I know. He goes, it's my stimulus check, my $600 stimulus check went to Mike Busey's house. I said, oh, okay. And he goes, yeah. And this is what he did. He sends me a picture of it. And he goes, he won't send it to me. So Mike Busey, this guy that was just with Post Malone last year, hanging out with, $50,000. This guy has a little mansion, his little show and other stuff he does, who threw Robert on the street, is now holding his check, his $600 stimulus check, when he needs this money hostage. And so I texted him again tonight. I said, well, because I was going to do the show last night, but I couldn't do it. I was too exhausted, and I can't stand bullies. I can't. I don't care who it is. I'm going to call you out, whoever the fuck you are. And just because you're famous, and just because I've known you since you are a little shit that worked at a pizza shop or giving out pizzas or whatever you did when you were at UCF, I don't care who you are. I don't care who you hang out with. I made him a bet because after I found out he talked about me like that, I said, I'll tell you what, Mike Busey, even though I haven't been in this at all, I haven't been doing any of this social media stuff because I got into solar and I was, I had no intentions of ever getting back into where I'm doing this. I'm like, I'll tell you what, I bet you $50,000 that within a year, I'll have more of a metrics of whatever you want to cross, if it's social media, whatever it is. And the winner will have to donate that $50,000. I mean, the loser donates $50,000 to their charity. So my charity is Hope4Humanity. And in his, I'm like, you can choose whatever you want. And he laughed and he's like, no, he just flat out denied it. I'll make him that bet again. You got a year from right now to 12 months. I guarantee you, I'll beat your pants down. And analytics of whatever you want to choose in that $50,000 bet. Because I can't stand bullies. And I can't stand that you have been doing this to a very nice guy by the name of Robert Poss. That's Mike's address too, by the way, in Florida, where he lives, his mansion, the Sausage Castle. How petty is that? In 2021, you got money like this, you're hanging out with people like Post Malone, and this guy worked for you for 2 years as a photographer, you treated him like a dog, you threw him on the street, and now that his check's there, you won't send it to him. Oh, but today you had Miguel, his manager, reach out to him and say, if you send me a self-addressed stamped envelope to us, we'll mail you the check. I can't stand it. I can't stand it. So, Mike, whatever's turned on you, whatever's changed you, Whatever has made your heart that dark and you think that you're so cool, you're not. You're being a bully. You're being an asshole. It's wrong. And believe me, I know a lot of your friends, and they're going to hear this, and it's going to get to you. And I hope it does, because Robert Poss needs that $600. Just like most Americans, he's hurting. Meanwhile, you've got your little Busey fans that pay you members-only stuff to see titties and ass, and you think that's cool. Well, right now, people are suffering and dying from this coronavirus. And Robert has been suffering monetarily wise and is at home and needs his little $600 check that you think that you have the power to hold it. And I think it's pretty illegal. I think if I talk to Tank from the Punishers and I found out from the law enforcement, I'm sure they can find something out and take care of you pretty quickly and get that done. But you don't bully people. And so bullies, the last thing they like to do is be bullied back. So I'm going to bully you back. I know. I'm just crazy, the crazy uncle. The guy's got this little show called Dan the Messenger. No big deal. I'm nothing. I get it. But I know a lot of powerful people. I know a lot of powerful people. And I know a lot of people in law enforcement. So just do me a favor, Mike. Just go ahead and mail that check to him right now. As a matter of fact, since you're a celebrity and you got all this money, since you got all this money, why don't you FedEx it to him and get it to him tomorrow? Why don't you do us that favor? I can call out all your friends because we got a close circle of friends because we all came up together. I just chose to not be in this. I walked away from it because it bored me. I wanted to do good things. I got into the environment. I got into solar. I got into helping people. That's what I created a charity for, Hope4Humanity2020, because I still hope and faith in people that they can do the right thing. And Mike, you got plenty of time to do the right thing. But bullying Robert Poss and holding his check hostage is the dumbest thing I've ever heard of, especially when you're a celebrity, because I'll get you blackballed too. I got some friends too that'll blackball your ass in a heartbeat. So you want to play bully games, bully me, I'll bully you right back. You want to bully my friends, oh, believe me, I've got friends for days that do not put up with this shit. And for someone who grew up a Christian, you should be ashamed of yourself. You really should be ashamed of yourself. There's a darkness that's gone inside your heart that I'm ashamed that I ever called you a friend when you're treating other people like this. And in Fort Myers, I bet you I just stirred the pot with a bunch of our old friends. But that's fine. I'm used to it. I'll call people out when they're wrong. I'm not afraid to, because that's what people should be. We need more heroes right now. We need more people standing up and do the right thing and not the wrong thing. And for you, thinking you're some little pseudo celebrity, it's funny that all those people that go to your house, they don't ever tag themselves in your videos. It's funny that half the people that work for you leave, and you wonder why. And then you tell my friend Schliz of how much you've changed. Well, apparently you haven't changed a damn bit. Matter of fact, you've gotten worse because you're holding a check hostage. This has gone out live on all the social medias, not just Facebook. And I'll tag you. I'll tag the shit out of you, Mike. And I'll make sure that this gets on the podcast just for fun. Just because bullying is our number one thing we can't stand. It's why we support Austin Booth. It's why we're going to be in this book about pulling each other forward, because that's what people should be doing for each other right now, is helping, not being an asshole, not stepping on the little guy because you feel that you're something, because you've got guys and people that follow you. You're not curing cancer, Mike. All you're doing is getting blowjobs, getting vets blowjobs, stupid little things, when we got real problems going on right now. And I'm sure you're probably miserable because a lot of things are falling apart and your little Tiger King project's not doing well, and whatever it might be. I'm calling you out right here, right now. I know all your background. You don't scare me. Your friends sure as hell don't scare me. Believe me, the Punishers got them all over. They're the real guys. They're the real heroes. Me, I'm just an idiot that can talk on this thing, and people seem to know who I am, and I'm connected because I'm trying to help, be a part of the solution and not the problem. You, on the other hand, apparently just feel that your little celebrityness and holding a check, and I think that's pretty illegal, by the way. There's some federal stuff that goes on with that, and you're tampering of mail and all kinds of good stuff. So I would recommend you FedEx at him tomorrow and make sure he gets taken care of, and maybe give him a little extra bonus since he was an employee for you for 2 years and he's hurting right now. So that's all I got to say about, the bullying part of it. Other than that, tomorrow for the COVID, my long COVID people, FLCCC.net, FLCCC.net, they're holding another conference and they invited me to it. So I'm going to get to be a part of that. It's going to be at 11 o'clock in the morning, and I'm going to get some updates on what they're doing. There is a doctor's program right now that if you've been recently diagnosed and you can't get drugs and medication and they're sending you home just saying, go fuck off and die, it is called Free Doctor Consult Now. Free, Free, free doctors, all right? Not only consulting you, but they're also giving cocktail drugs that I've been talking about for months. They're prescribing it for you in all the states, and this can save your life. I posted on my Facebook page. I posted on my Instagram page. Our customizable COVID cocktail. Now, I've been sharing these drugs for months. Now, the only one I don't share and talk about, I've talked about ivermectin. I've talked about prednisone. I've talked about doxycycline or azithromycin. They got another one, Bootsidin. I don't know what that one is. And they talk about HCQ, which is hydroxychloroquine. Now, I don't take hydroxychloroquine. I take a drug called indomethacin. And either one of those two is an antiviral shredder. It basically shuts the replication process down. The doxycycline or azithromycin, that is an antibiotic that helps give reinforcements for you to beat this virus down. And the prednisone is a drug that helps your lungs for lung issues. So people who can't breathe or having lung scarring or having really bad issues with that, this combination will knock the dog crap out of it. And hopefully tomorrow I'm going to get a good update. Now, if you want to text, it's the address, email address, or not email, but the website. Let me just put this up here. For this is called myfreedoctor.com. All right, let me update that. Okay, so myfreedoctor.com. If you've been recently diagnosed with COVID and you are freaking out and you need a consultation, you go there, or they made it even easier. You can text 850-750-1321. Okay. This is free, people. Free. These doctors are here to help you with this pandemic. We just broke 100 million globally. It's real. They know it. FLCCC.net. I'll put that in there. FLCCC.net. So you can go to FLCCC.net. They will tell you, explain to you about all those drugs, ivermectin, not endomethacin, but HCQ. They'll explain to you why you need the cocktail. They'll also explain to you where they showed across the globe in over 120 countries that this works. It can flatten the curve, and you can get back to your lives. It can also save lives. I know lots of people that, like me, are considered long COVID because treatments when we actually needed it, and it did a lot of damage. From my accident and everything else, I've got permanent damage to my kidneys, my lungs, my heart, on top of the accident of the tibial plateau shattered, the TBI. I mean, it's endless for me. And that's why I became an advocate and a voice for COVID victims, because the doctors weren't catching up. The drugs weren't being allocated. These vaccines, the reason why I'm not for the vaccine at the moment is twofold. One is because the tests for it aren't accurate. I've been telling you that. I can roll tape back to Easter Sunday, explaining to you that they were only testing for 3 antigens. Now they know, there's multiple strains. No shit. They knew there were 36 from back then. So if you're only testing 3 out of 36 strains, well, you're going to have a lot of false positives and false negatives. So there's a lot of people that have been had the virus asymptomatic. They have the virus in their body. They weren't sick from it. Now, if you go to get the vaccine and you've already had the virus and you have a messed up immune system, they found out in the Eli Lilly, and I'll pull these documents up. I just don't have them right here with me. Eli Lilly and Pfizer both had to shut, it's Googleable. You can just Google Eli Lilly shut down trials. Pfizer shut down trials, and it explains to you why they shut the trials down originally. And it's because people were dying from the vaccine, not from the vaccine itself, but from their immune systems going haywire. And what they're finding out is this vaccine, the synthetic version, when it meets the live version of the virus, doesn't play very well. Your immune system goes, oh, I know who the hell these people are, and it goes into massive overdrive. So I'm not anti-vaccine. What we need to do is get the testing right, which I have. I had the guy on from a laboratory who was an expert in this industry, in this field, and he told me about a test that is like 90-something% accurate, and I don't have it written down. I got to get a hold of him again, and I'll get him back on the show so we can explain it and talk to you. I'm not trying to scare you. What I'm telling you is, if you have been recently diagnosed and you text 84750-1321, that is my free doctor, free consult, free, FREE. These doctors are trying to save lives right here, right now. I'm going to also get them on the podcast so we can talk about it and explain why they're doing the drug cocktails, why these cocktails are essential, and why they are saving lives right here, right now. I have lost over 20 friends, 20. I've had probably 300 sick in the last 30 days. Florida has been just ravaged by it, ravaged. And it's because we're a tourist capital, just like California was. And the reason why Texas has taken off is because people from California moved to Texas. And the reason why New York has been taken off the whole time is because, well, people go visit New York. It's that simple. No one's the enemy in this. It's a virus that, it's been kicking the asses of these scientists and phlebotomists, not phlebotomists, but the epidemiologists, the frontline workers. We've been going through it, okay? I'm not blaming anyone. My voice as a survivor, my number one goal that I made to a good friend of mine, Conrad Buchanan, who I gave one of his first DJing gigs back in 2004, I think, at Eddie Fishbowls downtown, who passed away from it. At the time, he was the youngest person in Florida in March to pass away from it. They did it on CNN, Conrad Buchanan. You look him up. I made an internal promise to him. I said, as long as I have breath in my body, I will make sure, as long as this thing is still going on, that I will advocate for it, and I'll do my best to save lives of my friends. That's what I'm trying. I'm fighting an insurance company. I'm fighting workman's comp. I'm fighting for my own life. I'm getting treatments almost daily. I've tried everything underneath the sun that these research groups that I'm in has recommended. And this cocktail, I've been on this cocktail for 6 months. If I wasn't on this cocktail, there would no longer be Dan Rudy. You'd be at my gravesite going, yeah, I remember that guy. Cheers, Jägermeister, and please don't do that. If I pass, I don't want some drunk fest. Not my goal. God rest my old partner, Ed Fish. God rest all the friends I've lost. God bless you guys. And don't be an asshole. Stop being a bully. Mike Busey, you're better than this. I don't know what happened to you. Fame. You put your pants on one leg at a time like the rest of us. Just because you got 3,000 or 4,000 people to follow you, whoopee-doo. Social media has changed you guys. Listen, if we had social media back in Fishbowl days, I'd have had 100 million followers too, because the craziness that we had going on, the girls, it didn't faze me. I was just entertaining people. Whoopee-doo when you're famous. Whoopee-doo if you got $100 million in your account or $5 in your account. You're still the same person. It's who you are inside is what makes you the better person, not what you're on the outside. It's like perfume. It smells good, but you put it in your mouth, it tastes like shit. And that's what happens to a lot of these famous people. That's how I know so much about the industry, because I was around it for so long. I was around legit rock stars. I had that rock star lifestyle, but I just didn't do the drugs. My story is a hell of a story to tell. And when it comes out, I hope you guys enjoy it. All the money and proceeds goes to the charity, Hope4Humanity20. It goes to me. I'm just trying to help. Same thing for the podcast. There's no money in it right now, but if there does, it goes to charity. It's part for Hope for Humanity. I just founded it. I'm not doing anything other than talking for it. And Austin Booth is another amazing person, and Tank and Mel and all the people that are part of Hope for Humanity just yet. All the people like that Robert Poss that have helped. No one's made a dime. They just put their blood, sweat, and tears to try to help you guys. So I hope that each day my goal of saving one life happens. I hope that if you've recently come down with the COVID virus, you go to myfreedoctor.com. Or to make it even easier for your younger people, you can text 850-750-1321, and they will prescribe you these life-saving drugs. Now, is this the end of the world? I keep telling everyone no. Look, my face is swollen right now, and the reason why is because they had to put me on a super of steroids because my lungs were just failing and the pain was unbearable. I'm back on another round of Zithromax. It's because the virus doesn't leave your body, and there's different strains. And lucky me, I got mine when I was getting my surgery, and it got right into my immune system, right into my blood system. So, being a crash, a head-on collision with a steel pole, not a little pole. I mean, that thing was in the like butter. Shattered my tibial plateau in 3 days in my leg. My brain is scrambled eggs. My short-term memory is shot. And I live Groundhog's Day. Every day I wake up thinking it's the day before the accident. So I don't do this easily. I do this because I care, and because it's the only thing I can do is to try to help you guys. God saved my life. I can't help how I was saved. I don't know why he saved. The virus is constantly attacking me, and we didn't know. And then by the time it almost took me down, it did the damage. And I'm not that special. Groups, like I said, we just had 100 million tested positive. I guarantee you it's way more than that. 60% of our country, strong immune systems, should walk away from this pretty well, but you're going to have to monitor yourselves. The other 40%, guys, I mean, the mask thing is great, okay, but if you're not taking any kind of drugs and you're sitting at home after you tested positive, that virus goes from a SARS-CoV virus from your lungs into your immune system, into your bloodstream, and it just starts wreaking havoc. So if you don't get these drugs in you, you're going to have some long-term implications. I'm going to start bringing long COVIDs back on, some fresh ones, new ones, recently, like Jesse Evans' friend in Chicago. Young, healthy, guess what? Lungs permanently damaged, permanently. I think his wife was too. My pharmacist, his brother-in-law, positive, healthy. Now he's got to have his kidney, not his kidney, his one of his organs has to be removed, and he's destroyed too. So it's serious. It's as serious as it gets. Bullying, we all got 99 problems. COVID's one. It's affecting us always underneath the sun. Politics, you guys want to kill each other for whatever reason. Unity is my thing. We all got 99 problems. COVID's number one. Until we can knock that one down, flatten the curve, and get through this pandemic, then we can deal with the other issues, the social justice issues, the bullying. Bullying is I can't stand bullies. I just can't stand it. Can't. And to know that my own friend did it, Mike Busey, and is doing it to another friend of mine is disgusting. Over $600. How petty are you? Seriously. Oh, and be a rock star. Rock stars aren't assholes. And the ones that are, they don't last very long. The good ones, they stay around for a long, long time because their fans connect with that. The ones that are being assholes, like you in a year from now, you'll be toast. You'll lose that little mansion and shithole area you're at, and you won't have a single friend. Oh, you're going to have your little followers. You're going to be famous for being infamous. Well, good for you. That's a dark, dark place to be in, my friend. God bless you guys. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you guys go to our podcast, the Dan the Messenger podcast. It's available on the podcast playground. We got the Machine Gun Preacher on there. We got some good interviews. The very first interview was on bullying. Season 2 will be coming out shortly. Shady Spencer, I miss you, brother. I hope I hear back from you soon. And thank you for Gentry Thomas for support, and my man Memphis on the air. I got a lot of good friends. The Punishers, Tank, Austin Booth and Angel, his mom. You guys are awesome, checking in on me constantly. And I don't like that, not that you're not checking on me, but I don't like feeling like I'm a burden to other people. I'm trying to do my life and help others. But I do love you guys. And Austin, DJ Fearless, when we come to Fort Myers with Machine Gun Preacher and you get to showcase, I'm sure a lot of our friends are going to want to come to that party. I think Daisy's going to come down for it, Daisy De La Hoya. Obviously, Machine Gun Preacher's going to be there. We're working on some pseudo celebrities, some big bands. And it's going to be the 27th. It's a ride. It starts in Naples. It's raising money for the Angels of East Africa, which is the Machine Gun Preacher, Sam Childers charity, where he saves orphans in Africa. There's a movie that Gerard Butler starred in 2011 called The Machine Gun Preacher, which is a true story of Sam's life. And they're actually shooting his sequel. And so you're going to want to get a chance to hear this guy's story. He preys on faith, and he preys on his helping children and being part of the solution, not the problem. And I'm going to be honored to meet this guy in person. I've had him on the podcast. You can go to the Dan the Messenger Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. I think I'm banned on YouTube, and I think I've been banned on Facebook for a little while. Hope4Humanity2020, Hope4Humanity2020 is our Facebook and our YouTube page. And our website is Hope4Humanity2020.com. It's been getting upgraded. Jesse's been working on that, so you'll see the new version of it. If you want to make a donation, please do. I mean, we're going to help. That's all we're trying to do. Hope4Humanity2020.com. You guys have a blessed night.